How to use Bobbin Winder. This is the bobbin winder of our electric sewing machine. We need to get spool of thread and put it in the spool pin. So our goal is to refill this bobbin with a brown thread. Let's start. So first, we need to put the spool of thread in the spool pin and this bobbin in the bobbin winder. Grab the tail of the thread and then use this crisscross pattern here as your guide. To use and follow this format here and use the arrow here as your guide. Okay, so it's already crisscross, and then connect it with our bobbin. And twirl it 3 times. 1, 2, and then 3. Now, move the bobbin winder to your right. And now we're ready to wind the thread. Switch on the machine and then use the foot control to wind the bobbin. So let's press. The bobbin of thread is already full. That means we are now ready to use this one for our lower threading. So to remove, just press it on going to your left and then get the spool of thread. So to cut the thread, use the thread cutter located at the left side of the electric sewing machine. So to use, just put the thread or slide the thread down and then it's already cut. Upper threading. Before we start with our upper threading, make sure that the thread take up and the needle is at its highest point. So let's check. So the needle is not at its highest point as well as the thread take up. Let's raise the needle and the thread take up using the balance wheel. There. And then it's already up. Good thing that the electric sewing machine makes it easy for us to thread the machine because there are arrows there as our guide. So we will make use of them later. Number 1, place the spool of thread in the spool pin. So get the tail of the thread and put it on the first thread guide. So insert and there. Follow the arrow, number 2, and then number 3, up, and then to the thread take up, number 4, going down, and then to the thread guide 2 near the needle bar, and then last to the needle. Lower threading. So for lower threading, we need to use the bobbin case and the bobbins of thread. Insert the bobbin in the bobbin case, get the tail of thread and look for the slit. And then slide. Then insert the bobbin case in the bobbin shuttle And once you hear a tick sound, that means it's already in. Catch the lower thread to be on top. Hold the upper thread, needle down, using the balance wheel. Catch. There you go. So the upper thread and the lower thread is already on top of our machine. Now we are ready to sew. So to start sewing, okay, insert the fabric in between the presser foot and the fiddle, and then lower the presser foot lift there. The cloth is already clipped and ready for sewing. Set the stitch selection regulator and the stitch regulator for the length of stitch and for the style that you want to use for sewing. Use the normal stitch at the length of 3. So to activate sewing, use the foot control by pressing it and release to stop. Stop. This is normal stitch 3. Now let's try normal stitch, and then we will change the stitch regulator to number 1. Stop. See the difference of the length of stitches, number 3 and number 1. Let's change the design of our stitch selection pattern, and let's have this one, length 3. There. Same design, but the length we will change it to number 1. Number 3, number 1. Okay, let's change the pattern again to this. Length 1, and then let's change it to 3 of the same pattern. There, length 1 versus length 3. Long press and then foot control. So see, the stitch moves backward.